Hello there, Mark Izzo here from the Burning Hammer podcast, and for this video, I'm going to be showing you my entire wrestling collectible collection. So let's jump right into it. And before we get started, I just think it's worth noting that I don't think of myself as a collector per se, because I'm not trying to get something that's worth $500, $1,000, $2,000. I'm not trying to find the most expensive thing that's worth the most. I'm just finding cool things that I personally like, and right now the collection is small, but this is every wrestling collectible that I've got. And as you can see, I've got some wrestling figures, so let's get started with those first. Now, I'm new in the wrestling figure game. I really only started rebuying wrestling action figures over the past month or so I'm still learning about which ones are worth a lot, which ones that you should probably pick up if you see it in the store. But to kick us off, I have the Sasha Banks basic action figure right there, and this one's not too bad. The only weird thing is that they couldn't even put her in wrestling attire, and I think this one's just good to have because it's Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Moné. It's her action figure as Sasha Banks, so who knows, maybe in a few years this thing could be worth some money. Now, staying on topic with the Four Horsewomen, I have the Becky Lynch Elite 100 series collection right here. You got her with the SmackDown Women's Championship belt. This is one I saw in Target recently, and I had to get it because you need a Sasha Banks. She's probably one of my favorite women's wrestlers of all time. Plus the all-white attire and the SmackDown Women's Championship. This is one that I knew I had to pick up once I saw it. The other one I want to get in this collection is the Stunning Steve Austin, because that's a rare figure. I don't think it's super rare, but I think it's one that I should have in my collection because it's Stone Cold Steve Austin as Stunning Steve Austin. All right, so the next figure is the husband of Becky Lynch, and that is Seth freaking Rollins in the Monday Night Messiah. I believe this is the Elite Collection action figure, and this is one I need a Seth Rollins action figure, and this was the first one that I saw, and it was back when he was the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins, right there. And honestly, Seth Rollins is my favorite wrestler currently, so I had to pick up a Seth Rollins action figure, and I'm happy to have one that's not just a super basic like we saw with the Sasha Banks. And the last wrestling figure for WWE that I have is the John Cena Doctor of Thugonomics Elite 100 series. Again, this is the second one. It's the same series that Becky Lynch has, or that she was in. And this one, I just saw it and it's super cool, man. This is like the John Cena that I grew up with, the chain gang soldier John Cena, the Doctor of Thugonomics. You got the spinner belt right there around his waist. And let me know, what are your thoughts on the spinner WWE Championship belt? I don't think it's as bad of a design as people make it out to seem. I think it just looks terrible on everyone besides John Cena, and I think that was the biggest issue that they had. But there you have it, John Cena, Doctor of Thugonomics, Elite 100 series. I'm happy to have this one in my collection. All right, so moving on to some AEW figures. I only have two, and the first one I got is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This is from his Blood and Guts match from the Pinnacle. And I thought this was a pretty cool figure to have. Again, MJF is one of my favorite wrestlers currently, and I'm on a mission to get a wrestling figure for all of my personal favorite wrestlers, so definitely be on the lookout for that. I live in South Jersey, so I'm gonna have to head down to the Surf Mall at some point to pick up some good wrestling figures there, but I'm happy. I needed an MJF in my collection, and I got it with this one, so I'm super happy to have this. And again, with these AEW figures, I'm not super sure which ones are more rare, the Unmatched, the Unrivaled. I think it is the Unrivaled, but I think they only have, like, some of them are limited runs or whatever, but this one is the Inner Circle, the Painmaker, Chris Jericho action figure. Again, Chris Jericho, in my opinion, is one of the 4 greatest wrestlers of all time. He's on my Mount Rushmore, at least. I think he's one of the best to ever do it. And I needed a Chris Jericho in my collection, and I saw the Painmaker version of him, and I had to get it. I mean, what an iconic character. It's one of the great personas that Chris Jericho has taken on over the last few years, and the guy knows how to reinvent himself. So when I saw this one, I needed a Chris Jericho, and to have him as the Painmaker was a no-brainer for me to pick up. Let me know in the comments, would you like to see a video of me and Dylan going out and hunting for some toy figures? Because it's definitely something that we have been thinking about. But if you want to see it, let us know down in the comments below. And please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I am the host, along with Dylan, of the Burning Hammer podcast. We release new episodes every single Thursday. It's a professional wrestling podcast where we talk about a lot of fun, non-current event based stuff, and then we live stream every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we live stream on Twitter, we live stream on Twitch, and we live stream on YouTube, and you can listen to the Burning Hammer podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to it, and you can watch it on YouTube. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at The Burnt Hammer, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at The Burning Hammer, and follow us on Twitch at The Burning Hammer Podcast. That way, you know when we release new episodes of the podcast. All right, so next up, we are going to move into some Funko Pops. Now, I am not a Funko Pop collector. Like I said, I don't go out there to try to find the most rare Funko Pop. I did have a bunch in my collection, and I just bought the ones that I liked, which I highly recommend you doing that. You don't have to necessarily go out and get the most valuable figure or the most valuable Funko Pop or the most valuable t-shirt. Just buy the things you like and that mean a lot to you, because those are invaluable. So to kick us off, and again, I took most of these out of the boxes just because it's easier to display them, honestly. So the first one I've got is Sergeant Slaughter right there. Again, this is one I just saw, and there was a point where I was going out there, and if I saw a wrestling one, that I would just buy it. Today, I probably wouldn't buy a Sergeant Slaughter, but I have him in my collection regardless. Another one that I've got, this one's kind of cool. It's an all gold The Rock. Now this one is pretty sweet. I think this one was a Target exclusive if I'm not mistaken, but this is a super cool one that I'm super happy to have. All right, so next up we have the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. This is another super cool one. I wish he does have the title on him. There you go. Right over his right shoulder, he's got the $1 Million Championship. Again, this is like a random cool one that I just found, and it was a wrestler, so I bought it. Second to last, Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena. This one is, again, super cool, and I am super happy to have this one. I think now this one pairs nicely with the action figure that I've got of John Cena, the Chain Gang Soldier, his first character in WWE. So again, this is just a cool little random one that I found, and I'm super happy to have. All right, and then the next Funko Pop, of course, you got Big E. I think I need to get Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston to finish the New Day, but this is one I saw. I haven't really found Xavier Woods or Kofi Kingston yet, but once I do, I'm gonna buy them for sure, just to finish out their little stable, and finish off the collection right there. You got Big E, got the unicorn horn on his head, so this is a great one to have, and I'm super happy to have it. I hope Big E gets healthy soon, and I hope we're able to see him back in a wrestling ring. And then the last Funko Pop, this is one I kept in the box. This is my most recent purchase, and honestly, this is probably one that's gonna stay in the box forever because, like I said, I'm from South Jersey, essentially 20 minutes from Philadelphia, so Philly's like a hometown for me. And we've got the Paul Heyman ECW Funko Pop right there. And this one is super, super sick. It's a GameStop exclusive. It's the classic Heyman, all black with the ECW hat. And I mean, if you're from Philly, if you're from South Jersey, and you're a wrestling fan, you know Paul Heyman is the truth. And I need to get the RVD with the briefcase just to match it up with him. So I think next time I'm at GameStop, I'm gonna have to get RVD. All right, and then the second to last thing that I've got in my collection, again, it's a small collection, but I'm looking to really expand it and to buy just random weird wrestling things. And this one is something that I've had since I was a kid, and I've just never gotten rid of it. It was at my grandma's house for a while, and then she gave it back to me once she moved. And I've got the WWE Superstar Yearbook from 2008. Now this one is super, super sick. It just has inside of it a bunch of wrestlers, just like a high school yearbook. It just highlights every single wrestler that they've got in the company in 2008. And this one, if you're in your mid-20s, if you're in your late 20s, seeing some of these wrestlers probably brings back a lot of good memories. And this is something that I keep right over my shoulder. So if you're watching the Burning Hammer podcast, you may have seen this in the background. So again, this is something random, this is something super cool, and I'm really happy to still have this, and I'm happy that I was still able to keep it throughout all of these years. All right, and the final wrestling collectible I've got in my collection is probably my most prized possession. I don't think it's worth that much, but it's something that I think is super sick, and it's something I actually got from a thrift store. So again, check your thrift stores. You can often find some cool wrestling shirts or wrestling memorabilia, and what I got is a Stone Cold University little bear right there. It says Stone Cold University on there, and then you've got it on the back as well, and then you've got this little numbered tag on there. Let's see if we can get that in focus. Boom, and then you flip it over, WWF logo. It's just something cool, something random, something that I found. It was like $1 at the thrift store, and I'm just super happy that I have this in my collection, because this is it's one of those cool pieces to see and go, wow, that's awesome. So I'm hoping to get more random things like this in the near future, but let me know. Would you like to see more of these type of videos? We're going to be releasing more videos on YouTube. We're going to get Dylan's t-shirt collection in the near future, and then we're probably going to go toy hunting as well. So let us know in the comments below what kind of videos you would like to see. Or would you like to see us do some fantasy booking stuff? How WWE should book this pay-per-view. I think I'm going to try to do how WWE should book Money in the Bank. So be on the lookout for that as well. I may have already released it, so you got to subscribe to our YouTube, because that's the only place where it's going to be. Like I said, make sure to follow us on Twitter at The Burnt Hammer. Follow us on Twitch at The Burning Hammer Podcast. And follow us on everything else at The Burning Hammer. Make sure to listen to The Burning Hammer Podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Or you can watch it on YouTube at The Burning Hammer. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. If you made it this far, thank you very much. And I hope to see you in the next one.